Galnet News Digest, 14th of December 3307. We read the news so you don't have to.
In this week's news, bad news for Thargoids.
The 10th Martyr.
The Mystery Cat.
The campaign for better doors.
Commanders moved with impressive efficiency over the weekend, delivering classified experimental equipment to Salvation's megaships in Delphi, Merope and Maya, to help Salvation build 3 superweapons to wipe out the Thargoids in these systems. And today, the fruit of their labours was realised, with up to 1/3 of the Thargoids in each system destroyed and the rest forced to escape. For the past 2 months, following Salvation's previous, and some would say staged, attack on Thargoids in the Cornsar system, the Thargoids have been more determined than ever to re-establish a presence in the systems that are historically theirs. And despite their best efforts of anti-Xeno pilots, the Thargoids have had the upper hand, invading more systems every week than they could be repelled from. If Salvation can deploy 3 more weapons every week, and if it doesn't incense the Thargoids even more, then humanity may be able to very gradually drive the Thargoids back. Meanwhile, Ram-Tar is reverse engineering Salvation's technology and will publish his findings as soon as he can. Professor Albert Tesreau believes this analysis will show that Salvation is committing atrocities and that Aegis must be reinstated as humanity's agency for addressing the Thargoid threat.
The death yesterday of Theta Seven came as a surprise to many, having perpetrated numerous starport bombings, having been captured by the IISS and been imprisoned, having escaped following a spectacular breakout, apparently with external assistance, and then gone into hiding as a monk on board a megaship run by people hoping to meet their god and to be turned into Thargoid-shaped angels, all in the name of re-establishing a republic that was overthrown more than 1,000 years ago, giving up the fight and blowing up a ship full of religious weirdos who have no connection with the Empire and who nobody cares about. Seems rather out of character. Did he really kill himself? There's a video showing him detonating the explosives that resulted in his death, but it could easily have been faked. There are bound to be conspiracy theories, and even if he did die in the destruction of the Sacrosanct, it's far from clear whether we know the identity of the senior imperial benefactor who arranged for Theta Seven to be sprung from the interrogation centre. Was it really the Landgrave of Madrid who did that? Was he really powerful enough to pull all those strings right under the nose of Denton Petraeus? Some believe that it was Theta Seven who persuaded the Thargoid cult to build the 3 megaships in the first place. If the Sacrosanct was loaded with Thargoid enzyme explosives, then how about the Testament and the Perdition? Are they also loaded with bombs? Do the systems they pass through need to be worried? Admittedly, though, given the recent Thargoid attacks, an exploding megaship in Merope or Evangelis is unlikely to be noticed.
The Winking Cat has been selling his priceless stolen artworks, but no one really understands why. Elias Matahis and Zachary Rackham are just 2 of the fabulously wealthy business people who've managed to buy art from the elusive thief, and they've apparently paid huge amounts of credits for the privilege. Matahis, who has since been relieved of his stolen purchase by the Federal Intelligence Agency, claims he spent 22 billion credits for the stolen Okeke Terra Absentia, artwork so famous it could never be exhibited. The Winking Cat has never before sold his stolen art, so what is he up to? Is he planning a spectacular piece of performance art that's going to cost billions of credits to stage? Or is he planning an act of supreme generosity? Perhaps he plans to buy every commander a Cobra Mark IV as a sort of joke. Perhaps he's going to pay to get the fabled Panther Clipper off the drawing board and into space. Or perhaps he's at long last going to honour all those thousands of back orders for the free Anaconda from Hutton Orbital.
Commanders who choose to conduct their business without owning a spaceship are missing out, and it's all because of the doors, or rather, the lack of them. Planetary ports have landing pads, of course, and they have garages for surface vehicles. What they don't have is doors to let someone who doesn't own a spaceship get out onto the planetary surface. If you want to wander around outside the base, feeling the crunch of rock underfoot, admiring the architecture, or perhaps trying out a little parkour, and climbing and jumping to the top of one of the skyscrapers, well, you can't. There are no doors, not even an emergency exit, and it's amazing the fire department hasn't pointed that out yet. If you have a spaceship, there's nothing to stop you landing to one side of the landing pads and just getting out. That doesn't work if you don't have a spaceship. If you have a surface vehicle, such as a Scarab or Scorpion, you can go for a drive round the base, and again, you can get out. But if you don't have a spaceship, you're not allowed to own a surface vehicle either. Can you take an Apex taxi? No. They're happy enough to pick you up from anywhere on the planet's surface, but the only place they'll drop you is at a settlement. So, unless you fancy trekking across the desert from the nearest settlement to your chosen planetary port, that's a non-starter too. Join the campaign for doors in planetary ports. Help your fellow commanders get outside.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.